Hey guys, I'm Wuzani, and this is my beloved husband Tinashe.
The victim.
We are the Chinners, and this is Married Sucks.
Okay.
Okay, before we get into today's topic, I'm just going to ask you to like this video because somehow the YouTube algorithm likes it when you like. And after you've watched the video, please do make sure you leave a comment as well if you have something to comment about because the algorithm also likes it. But otherwise, welcome.
It also likes it if you share.
No, it doesn't.
It does. So please do share with your friends, your family, your colleagues,
your in-laws,
your enemies, everybody.
What are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about finances, money, squanduli.
Money, 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 money. Money. So, did you ever discuss money when you were growing up? Or do you remember ever discussing money when you were growing up?
Not really. It's not something which was a typical conversation in my household. No, not really, no. You?
Same. I remember the only time we would talk about money is if maybe I wanted something and then I would be told, oh, there's no money for that right now. Or maybe I will get it for you another time. But I don't remember having conversations about
Typical
money.
African household.
Hey, don't do that. Don't say that. So, how important do you think it is to discuss money when you are still dating? Is it important? Should you be discussing money when you're still dating?
It depends where you are in your relationship. You can't exactly ask about somebody's pockets or somebody's bag on your first 5 dates, right? But when you are at the stage where you are now talking about marriage and discussing marriage and you are thinking of marrying each other, it may be something that you want to discuss. By the way, what is your credit rating? By the way, how much debt do you have? By the way, are you broke?
Can you ask how much money do you make, do you think, when you're still dating?
You should be able to if you're thinking of marrying each other. And if money is important,
then you should.
Yeah, honestly, why not?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
And it's only at the point when you're getting married?
You can't ask them on the first date. You can't ask someone on the first, second, or third, or fourth, or fifth date.
Hey, how much money you got?
Yeah, you can't. Money is very, it's an uncomfortable subject to discuss. So you have to be in a place where you are able and willing to receive whatever somebody, tells you, and that person is also able and willing to share that information. If you're not ready to hear somebody telling you that they are broke or they are bankrupt, don't ask.
Yeah. Okay, so you ask and you should be ready to know.
Yeah, absolutely. But my question is though, should someone's financial status have any bearing on the relationship?
I think it depends on who you are because I know people that only date people that are at a certain financial level. Personally,
when you say people, are you talking about people of the female persuasion who are only dating
yes,
male figures in a certain
I've
tax
had
bracket?
That conversation with people before. Yes.
Okay, so should the man be making more in general? Do you think it's important for the man
I'll
to
tell you what I
more?
think. I don't think finances, I know I've mentioned now that I know people that put finances in the forefront, but personally I don't think finances should be something that determines whether you're with someone or not.
Okay.
And what was your question that you just asked now?
Should the male
Make more.
Yeah.
Okay. I also don't think it really has a bearing who makes more in a marriage or in a relationship. I think what matters more is you are on the same page in terms of how you view money and how you will manage it in your marriage. So if you think, oh, the men should make more, and you're basing your marriage on that, what then happens if you somehow get a promotion and you start getting more than your husband 5 years into marriage? What then happens if like life throws you a different direction and maybe your husband loses a job or whatever along the line? Is that marriage over? So I don't think who makes more should be a determination of whether you are with someone or not. That's my personal
Would you
opinion.
still respect the man if he's not making as much?
You see, this is where character in marriage comes
Immaculate
into.
character. Ooh.
You're showing your age, you know that, right?
Doesn't matter. Character, baby.
And your
whoa.
Africanness.
Okay, I dabbed, so it's still.
Oh, so it's
now it's confusing.
But dab is like 1980.
Anyway,
Didn't
yeah.
help. Yeah. So you threw me off now.
No, would you still respect
Oh yeah.
the man if he's not earning as much or earning at all?
Yeah, this is what I was saying. Character in marriage is a very, very important thing. I don't think people really understand how important it is. So you need to be able, if you're stepping into marriage, you need to be able to understand the dynamics of marriage, and you need to be able to understand the posture of your character, the posture of your mind, and the posture of your heart. Those three things, the posture that you need to have in a marriage in order for a marriage to work. So respect should not be based on who earns what or who makes what or who brings what. So if you feel like you won't be able to respect a man because he earns less, then I don't think you should be anywhere near thinking about marriage.
That's absolutely sounds wonderful, and I agree with you. But I can't help but feel that in reality that's the total opposite, or at least that's what it seems. That's how other people feel like it's definitely not the case.
And that's why people are pecking out of marriages a lot because people don't have an understanding of that. So in reality, yes, that could be possible, but if we want to really think about the things that make a marriage work, you need to really be careful about what you place as an area of importance in your marriage.
So, statistics shows that finances are one of the biggest cause for divorce, right?
And strife, yeah.
And strife. So, if I don't really know, but I kind of feel like it's more so to do with if the man is not making as much, therefore that strife begins because society puts a lot of pressure on men to make it seem like if one is not earning as much, therefore they are not leading the household properly. Do you think that's fair? That society does that. I'm not saying that you think it's fair.
But society is never fair. That's the thing with society. Society is the reason why a lot of things are going wrong in today's day and age. And you're absolutely right. There's a lot of pressure on the men to be making a lot of money, bringing home the bread, and and all that jazz. But if we're talking of the true essence of marriage, Proverbs 31 talks about the Proverbs 31 woman. She works hard. She brings the bread home. She provides for her family as well. So if you want to look at it from a biblical perspective, the responsibility cannot be 100% on a man to provide. And this is where you see sometimes that men are under pressure now in marriages, and the marriages start to crumble. One thing I would say though, when you mentioned about finances being one of the key reasons why marriages break, I don't think it's more of lack of money, but it's more of lack of managing money or lack of a great financial literacy. So we could, between the two of us, we could be earning £1,000 a month, and we could either make it work for us, depending on how we manage our money and how we live, or we can make it cause strife in this house because we always look at it and think it's not enough. So I think it's based more on financial literacy and being able to manage your finances well. And if couples don't arrive at a place where they are living within their means and they're able to manage their finances well, of course strife will come, because money will never be enough for as long as you're living way above your means.
I agree with you in some regards, and in some I don't, right?
Okay.
There is that aspect. Men are constantly under pressure to be able to provide a certain lifestyle, or to be in a position to provide a certain lifestyle for their wives, etc., etc. And even though you are saying all these lovely things that character counts, and it's very true, some women don't care about that, but there are some men who even in their house, in arguments, in everything else, they are constantly being told that you are not doing enough, you are not bringing in enough money, that's why we are living like this, that's why we are this, that's why we can't do this, it's your fault, it's your fault. And that adds a lot of pressure on the male individuals to try and do whatever it takes to bring in that bag. And really and truly, it is true, in a perfect world, money shouldn't be an issue. It's all about how you manage it, how you can make what you are bringing in work, right? To make sure that you can live the lifestyle that you want to live together as a couple. I think that's more important. But yeah.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right there. Who do you think should manage finances in a marriage?
The man is the head of the household. He runs things. Everything begins and ends with the man. I'm joking. No, I think it's whoever is more gifted in managing the finances should manage the finances in the household, right? Because marriage is all about coming together and putting your strengths to work and substituting your weaknesses for your partner's strengths. Does it make sense?
So whoever is stronger,
absolutely,
in that area,
in that aspect, should do it. For example, I'm very, very, very skilled, and I have a specialty in spending money. I'm very gifted. I know how to do that. And at the same time, I very much know how to dream big and have a huge vision. But then I need someone who then can come into play and put certain necessary steps in place to say, okay, this is what we need to do to ensure that we can get to this place, and this is what needs to happen, which is where you come in, because you're really quite good with money in terms of, for lack of a better word, Wazani is stingy with money, guys.
Guys, I'm not stingy with money. Do you know what? Before I married you, I was quite balanced, but I feel like I've gone more on the stingy side because you're more on the let's spend. So if you're more on the let's spend and then I'm like midway, then boy oh boy. So I feel like we need to balance each other out.
Make it rain. Okay.
Make it
rain.
See, it's that attitude.
But anyway, when it comes to money though, one of the things that we have tried to put in place, it hasn't always worked, and it's something that I will continuously try and put in place, is to live off 60% of what comes. It doesn't always work, guys. But ideally, studies show that if you live off 60% of your income, you're living within your means. Anything outside of that, if it's 7%, 8%, you're living outside of your means, right? Most successful individuals, would live within the 60% mark. 20%, 18% rather, it goes to savings for their retirement and for their holidays and whatever. 10% goes to their children's future, right? 12%, 12% goes to their children's future and everything else, and then the 10%, that's the tithing, giving to God and everything else.
Tinashe, what do you think about the credit system? Because we live in the Western world, and there is so much stuff available on finance, there's so much stuff available on credit, and you could literally live your life off credit cards, store cards. Like, you could go in, get sofas, get chairs. You could literally furnish this whole house on credit. What's your view or your take on that?
Is that God works in mysterious ways?
So what God is giving you
provides in mysterious ways. No, I'm playing. So with debt or with financial or credit plans and everything else, you have to ensure that you buy as much as you can using cash. Try and save up and pay for it. Right. If you're gonna get into debt, try and save up a huge chunk of it, and then have very small payment installations that you can cover. But above all, if you're gonna get into debt, try and buy things that appreciate in value, such as real estate, houses, property, whatever it is, and try and avoid as much as you can. Of course, sometimes you can't help it, but as much as you can, buying things that depreciate in value, right? That's very, very key and very important. And also, you have to understand that in this country, in order to actually build your credit, you need to have some form of credit, right? So, and it shows that you are paying your bills on time. If you have a credit card, you are paying that in time, on time, rather, and everything. It shows that you are a faithful individual. What's your take on it?
Credit is a good thing if you use it wisely. So there may be situations where perhaps it is wise for you to do that. Like, for example, when you say you buy big purchases, etc., etc. So yes, as long as you use it wisely, what you don't want to end up doing is having the majority of your income going towards paying off credit and paying off debt, because then that's you're stealing from, I look at it as stealing from your future. You're borrowing from your future. Instead of building up and saving up for your future, you're actually taking and borrowing from your future, because later on you're going to have to give that money back. So I would say stay clear of debt as much as possible. So what is the right balance between, because obviously we want to save money, but we also want to live. What is the right balance between being frugal and living an extravagant life? What's the difference?
Well, I think I've kind of already answered the question. Living within the 60% of your income, right? Anything outside of that is now frivolous living. You are now doing the most to an extent. So living within that 60% bracket, 18% for your future, 12% for your children's future, and then 10% unto God.
Yeah, that's a brilliant answer. There was a time last year during the lockdown when our food budget went up, as a perfect example. And then I was starting to think, what's going on? And every single time when we put the bins out, the bins will be full of food, like literally. And I thought, we're working for the bin right now. And there's different ways that you can try and be a bit more frugal. And I think since the beginning of the year, I really looked and I thought, goodness, no, we can't continue to live like this. We need to start to be a little bit more stringent with the way we do stuff, like subscriptions, like you have loads of subscriptions, some of them that you don't use, etc., etc. So I think it's important to make sure that your frugality is more along the lines of, is there anything that I am doing that is making me put my money to waste? And when you put a budget together, you make sure you stick to it. And then also to balance it out with, being able to live life, put a budget for holidays, put a budget for going out, put a budget for eating out, as long as all of it is within budget. What would be difficult, or what we shouldn't really do, is you get your money at the start of the month. At the end of the month, you're surprised, oh, I no longer have money, and you can't account for it. And that makes it a bit more difficult. What does the Bible say about money?
That it answers all things.
It does answer all things.
Yeah.
It does answer all things. But it also mentions that we need to leave an inheritance for our children. That's the word of God. We can't be in a position, in a place where we have had to start from scratch. We have had to start to save up for a house. We have had to start to save up for everything from scratch. Our children shouldn't have to go through the same struggles we went through in terms of trying to build. So we need to also leave wealth for them in terms of, like, monetary wealth, and then also in terms of knowledge. So when we first started the conversation, we were talking about how maybe we didn't speak about money in the house. But that needs to change with our kids. Our kids need to be financially literate so we can prepare them for a better and a brighter future. And, they need to grow up seeing that this is how you use money, this is how you spend money wisely, and so that they can have a bigger and a better and a brighter future.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. So, Tinashe, marriage sucks if
you're broke.
Don't, babe.
It does suck if you're broke. Marriage sucks if you are broke.
No, let's not do that.
Oh, okay, guys. Apparently, I have to say something profound. Marriage, brothers and sisters, sucks if you are going through financial difficulty. Okay.
Can I just crop you out of the video?
The honest truth is, marriage sucks if you are not managing your finances well, if you're not planning for your future. Don't just live in the now, live also for your future, right? What is your retirement plan looking like? You need to build experiences and memories for yourselves and for your children. What is, your holiday plan looking like? You need to ensure that you are building towards all those things and you're saving towards all those things. So planning for your future is essentially important in marriage, and leaving something for your kids behind.
That's better.
Essentially, being broke sucks in marriage.
What do I do with you? I think marriage sucks if you do not build the financial literacy you need to be able to run your household. You can earn as much as you like or as little as you like, but as long as you don't have good financial habits, you will always go back to the drawing board where you're struggling and there is strife in your marriage because you're not managing what you have properly and you're living outside of your means. So yeah, I believe that for as long as you have a proper plan, a proper budget, you stick to it, and you also make sure that you are working towards building your future as opposed to borrowing or taking from your future, then yeah, marriage won't suck as much. Okay, guys, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
To our TED Talk. See you next time. Make sure you subscribe, you like, and you share.